Formula One, for many years now, has been a grid made up of a very even 10 teams and 20 drivers who race wheel to wheel each weekend. Many people believe that this is the perfect number for Formula One, including many teams who prefer just having 10 teams in the paddock. However, as the sport has grown since the introduction of Drive to Survive and many other things, more and more people have eyes on Formula One. The interest is as high as it's ever been, and other people want to get involved, and there are many teams, brands and people who wants a piece of the Formula One pie right now. More teams, of course, will change a lot in the sport. They could come in and surprise everyone and be in the fight for wins straight away, hence why a lot of the top teams want to keep it how it is. They want an easier time and have less competition to go up against, and you simply have to understand from their point of view. But more teams means that it could mix things up, and it allows more drivers on the grid, which is very good, as right now we simply do not have enough seats for the amount of drivers who deserve a seat in the sport. In recent weeks and months, we have had some movement about more teams joining the Formula One grid. In today's video, we will talk about the two teams who are close to joining in Andretti and Hitech, and what this could do for Formula One, how it could be a good thing, and how it could be a bad thing for the sport in the long run. Let's get right into the action, shall we? The two teams who are closest to getting into Formula One as the 11th and 12th team is Andretti and Hitech. Andretti are known mostly in the States for their work in IndyCar and other racing categories, where they are pretty successful and know how to win and perform. The Andretti name has been in Formula One before, with Mario Andretti being a Formula One world champion back in the 1970s. Andretti has been pushing more and more in recent years by getting sponsors on their side, while speaking to Formula One, saying they have the entry fee and are ready to come into the sport as soon as they want. They are the ones who opened up the conversation of having more and more teams in the sport, and are red hot favourites to be that 11th team to enter Formula One, maybe as early as 2026, well, they hope. Onto the other candidate to be another team in the sport is the team by the name of Hitech, which you may have heard of before if you watched the junior formula categories. They have been around for almost 20 years, and now they want to take that next step into the big leagues, which will be tough, but it is a challenge they want to face. It has come out of late that they have submitted an application to enter the sport in 2026 with the backing of a new investor, which will allow them to have the facilities and personnel to make a massive jump. Even though Formula 2 also is a step down from Formula 1, it is a massive jump to make it, and it will be hard for them, and you cannot expect them to come and be fighting at the front straight away. They want to come into the sport in 2026, just like Andretti, so they can come in when the new engine regulations are put into place, so they can make it easier for them to not be miles behind everyone else, as it levels the playing field a little bit. We could see some announcements officially from Formula One that they will both be coming into the sport. However, there are still drawbacks from Don Kelly, who is the CEO of the sport. He simply does not want any more teams on the grid and wants to keep it how it is. But he has said stuff in the past and gone back on his word. He has to look at the positives and negatives, which we will get into later, and see that if it will help the sport move ahead, we will just have to wait and see. What do you think about Andretti and Hitech possibly joining the grid in 2026? Do you think that it will happen, or will it be stopped? Drop a comment below and let us know what your thoughts are. Moving on to our next topic, and that is what exactly these two teams coming into the sport could do for Formula One. If Andretti joins, it will bring a massive American audience over and will make the sport even bigger over there. And it could even result in 4 races in America in the future. Who knows? Hitech could bring even more eyes to the sport in a way by having a big sponsor join the team, or have people who have watched them in the junior categories start and watch them in Formula One. The sport will benefit that, and that is for certain, if they have more teams on the grid, as we talked about at the start of the video. More drivers are better for everyone. It also gives more competition and keeps things more exciting. Either team could come in and surprise us all and be the quickest, unlikely to happen, but the possibility is there. Right now, a lot of Formula One fans want something to spice up the sport, and bringing 2 new teams that have never competed at the highest level before could do exactly that. What do you think? Will the sport benefit from Andretti and Hitech joining the grid? Will it make the sport more exciting in a way? Let us know your thoughts. To end this video, we'll be talking about the good and bad things that having 2 more teams on the grid will do. Starting off on the positives, it will bring more eyes on the sport, as we've just touched on. More drivers will be on the grid and more room for the elite drivers to showcase their talent where they might have not been able to in the past. It brings more competition, whether that be to Red Bull right now at the front or to AlphaTauri at the back. It will provide more wheel-to-wheel action up and down the grid due to more cars being there to battle. We could see a Brawn-type season if the teams get the 2020 regulations right. A team could switch up the sport and win in their first season of Formula 1. There are many positives that could come from this, and Don Kelly has to see that for sure and makes his decision to bring them into the sport. However, there are some negatives that are going to be up against Hitech and Andretti. One of the ones is that there are so many people who simply want the moves not to go ahead. The likes of Mercedes and Red Bull are said to be against it, whilst only McLaren really wants it to go ahead, mainly just Zach Brown. These teams don't want competition and want it how it is, and you understand their points of view. Another disadvantage of another team being on the grid is the issues that we already have in qualifying with 20 cars, which will be worse with 24. There have been several incidents in recent races where the traffic into the final turn has been so bad it's caused drivers to be knocked out in qualifying as they were blocked or could not get to the start of the lap to be good enough. Overall, there are some things that favour Andretti and Hitech and others which do not, and may actually stop them from getting into the sport. The first hurdle they have to get is others persuading Formula 1 to change their mind, as they are the ones who have the key to the sport. Andretti and Hitech are both experienced in motorsport, so they aren't exactly proven, so there's nothing to worry about on that front, but Formula 1 still wants 10 teams for the time being. We hope that they change their mind, as it will provide a bit of spice and drama to the sport, and a change up to the grid after having it the same for what feels a very long time. We could see an announcement very soon, or never. Who knows? We'll have to wait and patiently see if any news comes out as we head closer and closer to 2026, when Andretti and Hitech want to join the greatest motorsport category in the world. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and make sure you drop a like and hit that subscribe button to watch more videos just like this one.